Richard Taylor served as Kentucky's Poet Laureate from 1999 to 2000. A longtime professor of English at Kentucky State University, he is a Keenan visiting writer at Transylvania University. Taylor has published 5 collections of poetry, a University Press of Kentucky New Readers series title, 3 Kentucky Tragedies, the accompanying text for The Palisades of the Kentucky River, a book with photos by Adam Jones, The Great Crossing, a history of Leestown Road and its associations with the whiskey industry of Kentucky, Virginia's Western War, a history of the Revolution in Kentucky. He co-authored this with Neil O'Hammond and Sue Mundy, a novel of the Civil War, and Rail Splitter, a collection of sonnets based on the life of Abraham Lincoln. His most recent books are Rare Bird Sonnets of the Life of John James Audubon, Larkspur, 2011, and a chapbook, Fading into Bolivia, Accents Publishing, 2011. Richard Taylor.
Thank you, Secretary Sparrow. The poet T.S. Eliot asked 2 questions that go to the heart of the information age, of Google, of quick talk, of the quick sell. Our inattention to experience and too often our unreflective modes of living. These are the questions. How much knowledge is lost in mere information? How much wisdom is lost in mere knowledge? Reading and writing poetry, living with poetry, not 1 month a year, but every day, is one means to respond to these questions. We are bombarded with facts which seldom take root as knowledge, and that knowledge too seldom evolves into a mature reflection about the world and our place in it, wisdom. What does it take, ideally, to write poetry? First, a love of language, its origins, its nuances, its power to transform experience and our vision of the world. Second, discovering one's voice, the natural means to express one's experience in the world, one that touches the senses rather than imparts ideas through abstract thought, which is only a part of our essential being. Poetry is the doorway through which we engage the world with our senses, how we get in touch with the world, rediscovering how things taste and feel, how they smell and sound, how they appear. Third, evoking experience in such a way that it creates an emotional response through images or combinations of words that permit us to experience the world in its fullness, rather than through Wikipedia or sound bites or through cliches and language that is superficial. Fourth, rediscovering the primal music of language, the magic of sound that enchants the ears and resonates in our hearts. Without it, poetry is another version of the evening news, instead of, as Ezra Pound so meaningfully defined it, news that stays news. This music grows out of our communal and most ancient past. Its roots are in the earliest rituals at the dawn of our spiritual sense as we responded to the mysteries and miracles of nature. Finally, living long enough to gain a perspective on our experience, learning both joy and love and suffering and the simple pleasures of direct interaction with the world, walking in the woods under maples, watching the curl of a tide, or birds flitting around the feeder. These are the challenges any poet faces. When they combine at their best, they resonate with each of us and a kind of harmonic convergence that renews our love of the earth and all of its inhabitants. National Poetry Month is a recognition of the often neglected realization of the centrality of poetry in our lives, a challenge for us all to transform our partial selves into our fullest selves. Poetry is a primary means by which we reclaim and affirm our common humanity. One example from many, including many in this room, to illustrate how these pieces come together into wholeness is a poem by the late Jane Kenyon, who kept writing until the day of her premature death of leukemia in 1995. It's called Otherwise. I got out of bed on 2 strong legs. It might have been otherwise. I ate cereal, sweet milk, ripe, flawless peach. It might have been otherwise. We ate dinner together at a table with silver candlesticks. It might have been otherwise. I slept in a bed in a room with paintings on the walls and planned another day just like this day. But one day, I know it will be otherwise. Thank you very much.